A year ago, nobody saw this coming. The Commanders were in freefall and Jayden Daniels was just another unproven rookie. But then came the game, the one that changed everything, the one that turned a quiet first rounder into the most electric player in football in 2024. And in just 4 quarters, Daniels went from a promising prospect to a full-blown superstar. But this is the game that made Jayden Daniels the face of the NFL. Now, for a player as talented as Washington's signal caller, there have been plenty of moments throughout his career that have captivated football fans at every single level. Jayden first grabbed the nation's attention as a freshman at Arizona State when his debut season of college football hit its peak as he went toe-to-toe with Justin Herbert's number 6 ranked Oregon Ducks. The true freshman Daniels outdueled Herbert with 22 completions for 408 yards and 3 touchdowns in a legendary 31-28 win in Tempe, proving himself as a deep ball specialist. Daniels' poise considering his age was the standout feature in this one, something that would come up time and time again throughout his career as a measure of his greatness. But it would be a few more years until the superstar was making headlines again. This time though, as turmoil in the Sun Devils football program saw a steep decline in on-field performance. As a result, Jayden Daniels transferred to LSU in 2022, where he looked back to his game-breaking best. Perhaps the defining moment of his first season in Baton Rouge, though, was in a top 10 matchup against the eternal rivals, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Daniels not only posted a near flawless passing performance with 182 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no picks, but proved to be a difference maker with his legs, grabbing a critical overtime score on the ground. He remained level-headed on a decisive 2-point conversion, leading the Tigers to their first win over the Tide at Death Valley in over 12 years.
For the win! Caught! It's gone!
His Heisman Trophy winning effort in 2023 was laden with performances that raised his profile. Perhaps none more so, though, than the demolition of Florida just 1 game after going down with a concussion. Daniels clawed his way back to the field and posted an SEC record for single-game offense with 606 yards, for 5 total touchdowns in a performance that all but wrapped up the Heisman Trophy for him. With quite the track record at the collegiate level and 5 years of starting experience under his belt, Daniels was one of the hottest prospects heading into the 2024 draft. Due to concerns around his slender frame and frightening upside of Caleb Williams, Jayden Daniels fell right into the laps of the Washington Commanders at 2nd overall. And honestly, most years being drafted to the Commanders would be a nightmare scenario for any rookie quarterback, except for this year. You see, the Joshua Harris-led takeover of the team brought renewed optimism around the franchise. He cleaned house in the offseason and introduced an entirely new coaching staff led by Dan Quinn. Cliff Kingsbury came into the offensive coordinator vacancy with a wealth of experience in maximizing the output of talented young signal callers in what proved to be one of the most underrated moves of the 2024 offseason. Washington did open the year with a loss in Tampa Bay, where Daniels completed an impressive 70% of his passes while logging 2 scores on the ground, and then the following week, the rookie got his first win under center against the Giants with an improved 80% completion rate for 226 yards. There still were no interceptions and still no touchdowns for Jayden Daniels coming into week 3, but as we all know, everything would change once they went into Cincinnati. The Bengals had started the season ugly at 0-2, but were still a major AFC powerhouse, playing on their home field in prime time on Monday Night Football. The Bengals got out to an electric start, scoring on their opening drive, but Daniels brought the heat, responding in kind with a clutch 4th down pass to Luke McCaffrey, bringing Washington down inside the Cincinnati 5, allowing Brian Robinson to punch it in for 6. A well-worked run from Eckler gave Washington the lead, while a stop from the Commanders' defense set Daniels up for a potentially momentum-shifting drive. And then just 5 plays later, the rookie aired out 55 yards for Terry McLaurin, setting up a 4-yard rushing touchdown where Daniels waltzed into the end zone absolutely untouched. By the time they got the ball back in the second half, up 21-13, Jayden Daniels' foot was still on the gas. He marched the offense down to the 1-yard line, capping off the drive with a rare pass to offensive tackle Trenton Scott with a calmness that betrayed his objective inexperience. And even as the Bengals were mounting a comeback, bringing the score 31-26, Daniels drained 7 minutes off the clock in a single possession, and as they approached the red zone, Cincinnati decided to bring a safety blitz on 3rd and 7.
Jayden loads one up for McLaurin in the end zone. Did he catch it?
Jayden finished his first primetime showing with a win, setting a record for rookie pass completion percentage with an absurd 91.3% for 254 yards, 2 scores, and no picks. He was no slouch on the ground either, with 39 yards and a touchdown, and on the biggest stage of his career thus far, he not only survived, but legitimately thrived in what proved to be a catalyst for an unreal run of form. Over the course of the following weeks, Jayden emerged as the clear frontrunner for Offensive Rookie of the Year, but a rib injury on the opening drive of a Week 7 game against the Carolina Panthers did threaten to slow his momentum. He was questionable for the long-awaited clash against the only man drafted ahead of him, Caleb Williams and his Chicago Bears. The two rookie quarterbacks had generated significant hype in the opening weeks of the season, so much so that the game was flexed to the late afternoon window for the entire nation to see. And just as he had in college, Jayden Daniels showed up with his toughness and suited up for the game, which on tape, the Commanders just absolutely dominated. With Chicago unable to get anything going, Washington was up 9-0 by halftime, although the Commanders' drives repeatedly stalled in the red zone against a staunch Bears defense. They did extend the lead to 12-0 in the third quarter, but it still didn't reflect the Commanders' dominance to that point. That wasn't until a 56-yard touchdown run from DeAndre Swift blew the game wide open, bringing the deficit down to 5. The Commanders missed a field goal on the following drive before the two sides exchanged punts to give Chicago the ball with 4 minutes remaining. Caleb Williams came to life in the Bears' final drive with big completions to Rome Odunze and Keenan Allen, moving Chicago downfield. Roschon Johnson scored with 25 seconds left in the game, while Williams completed a 2-point conversion to tight end Cole Kmet to ice the game, proving on Daniels' home turf precisely why the Bears chose him over LSU's finest. And now at 15-12 being the score, Washington would at least need a field goal to stay alive. After the kickoff saw the clock drain to 19 seconds, it was do or die time for Daniels with the ball at his own 24. He completed a pass down the middle to Zach Ertz at the second time of asking, calling a timeout with 6 seconds left before a critical 13-yard completion to Terry McLaurin brought them just shy of midfield with 2 seconds remaining.
Here comes the Hail Mary with the game on the line, and the ball is caught.
Absolute pandemonium ensued as the number 2 pick triumphed over number 1 in one of the wildest moments of the 2024 season. A play that defined the spirit of the Cardiac Commanders and certified Daniels' status as a superstar big game player. Washington remained on track to complete one of the biggest single-season turnarounds in recent memory, led by their rookie quarterback with a veteran demeanor. And he wasn't done with the dramatic late wins either. In back-to-back weeks, Jayden Daniels was able to keep the Commanders' playoffs hopes alive just when everybody thought they were dead. He began with handling the Eagles their first loss since Week 4 at Northwest Stadium in a 36-33 shootout. The Commanders came from being down 21-7 to lead by 1 point in the fourth quarter. A Jalen Hurts-less Philly team thought they had just done enough to see out the game with 2 field goals. Daniels and company, though, they had other ideas, executing a flawless 2-minute drill with a dart to Jamison Crowder in the back of the end zone to ice the game, where the quarterback's 5th touchdown of the afternoon proved that he could win games all on his own. The following week, Washington hosted an Atlanta team led by a newly christened starter Michael Penix in a game that would determine both teams' playoffs hopes. Another back-and-forth affair set deadlocked at 24-24 after 60 minutes, but saw the ball in Daniels' hands to start overtime. The LSU alum sealed the Falcons' fate with an immaculate drive which epitomizes his dual-threat nature, composed of a balance between pass and quarterback run plays, culminating in a quick toss to Zach Ertz in the end zone to send a team that had been 4-13 the year prior to the postseason. Not only that, but then his playoff debut against Tampa Bay was absolutely epic, decided on a last-second field goal to avenge his loss in the opening game of the season, but it was ultimately overshadowed by his exploits in the Detroit game just 1 week later. Coming into the game, the NFC 1-seeded Lions were 9-point favorites, and after enjoying a week off to get rest, got out to a hot start in the divisional round, up 7-0 after just 2 possessions. Washington only managed a field goal in response, but were gifted a possession once again after the defense forced a Jared Goff fumble. With a chance to keep themselves in the game against a high-scoring Detroit team, Daniels worked the ball into Lions territory with a 42-yard dot to De'Ami Brown. And just as the drive seemed to stall on a 4th and 3 inside the Detroit 10, Jayden Daniels, cool as ever, found Zach Ertz in traffic for a new set of downs, allowing the visitors to find the end zone for the first time that day, taking a 10-7 lead in the process. A spectacular Sam Laporta catch brought the score to 14-10 in Detroit's favor, but on the third play of Washington's next possession, Daniels tosses a screen pass to Terry McLaurin, who tore apart the Lions defense with a 58-yard catch and run to restore the Commanders' lead. Daniels' opposite number threw a pick six, but countered shortly afterwards with a score drive of his own, courtesy of a Jameson Williams end around, which he took 61 yards to the house, narrowing a deficit to 24-21. And with Ford Field rocking after an electrifying sequence of play, the rookie quarterback remained unmoved, pushing the ball downfield with another huge completion to De'Ami Brown to bring Washington to the host's 6-yard line. All it took was a dot to Zach Ertz to restore their 10-point lead, which they carried with them to halftime after two of the most invigorating quarters of football ever played. The Commanders couldn't get anything going in their first possession, but a touchdown from Detroit put the pressure back on, which meant Washington's next drive was only going one way. And kind of contrary to the rest of the game up to this point, it was going to be Jayden Daniels' legs that did prove the difference maker on this drive, getting them a fresh set of downs from the jump and converting a critical 4th and 2 in the red zone to help his team put up 7 more points on the board. And now, yes, I know maybe a sloppy defensive penalty might have bailed out the Commanders on that 4th down play, but still, you can't take away from what Jayden Daniels did in this game based off of just one penalty. Like, against a team that had playoff experience from the year prior, the rookie appeared to be the least daunted by the occasion, playing a flawless game with a sense of inevitability whenever the ball was in his hands. Like, simply put, Jayden Daniels was a difference maker all year long, and there was no two ways about it. Another interception gave Washington the ball back with the chance to take a 17-point lead at the stage in the game where the energy had completely been sucked out of Ford Field by the lanky 24-year-old kid from California. But he wasn't done, draining 4 minutes off the clock, converting yet another 4th down in the red zone to set up Washington's 6th touchdown of the day, putting the game well out of reach. Jayden Daniels ended the day with 299 passing yards for 2 touchdowns to go with 51 yards on the ground in a 45-31 victory, bringing the underdog Washington team to its first NFC Championship game in nearly a quarter century. Showing up in big moments during the regular season is one thing, but the playoffs is a whole nother beast. The poise and consistency shown in this game catapulted Jayden Daniels from NFL superstar to national sensation, cementing his place as the best rookie quarterback of all time. And yes, Washington might have fallen short the following week, but a message was sent. Jayden Daniels isn't the future, he's the now.